Okay people, this is himself and welcome to another King Tekken 7 guide. In this video we're going to look at Olympian Slam. I'm going to show you the best ways of using it, the OK you can get and how it can lead to a 130 damage combo, so stick around for that. So for those of you unfamiliar with this move, the command is back plus 2-4 and it comes out in 14 frames. On block you're at -9, but on hit you automatically get the throw and this adds on 20 damage. From there they end up face feet away and we get some OK options. The first option is F plus 2-1. The frame window for this is tight, but this will hit standards and back rollers and it also beats out wake up kicks. On top of that, if you get a hard read against standards, you can use the D1 version and get a launch. What that leaves is people staying grounded and rolling around on the floor. And here I had trouble finding something good. One option is addy kick. This hits side roll left, people staying down and back rollers, but it can be blocked by standards and it whiffs against side roll right. To cover that we can use D4. This hits side roll right and beats standards, but it whiffs against back rollers, side roll left and staying grounded. Because of that, people might stay down to minimise the risk, but to stop that we can use ground throws. You have to step in to catch them, but when you do you'll get the wing terror and that does 28 damage. Last option is against wake up kicks. As I already mentioned, F plus 2-1 and D4 will beat both of these, but if you get a hard read you can use hop knee. The danger though is that it whiffs against standards and back rollers, so you do need to be careful. Now having this throw is all good, but what we really need is a way to land it in the first place. With the kick being a mid, most people are just gonna block, so we have to trick them into eating it, and there's two ways of doing this. The first is using the 1 plus 2 ender. This is a high so people can duck it, but if they do that they can get hit by the kick and we get our throw. They can also try sidestepping the move, especially to the right, because that gets them round to the back and we take a heap of damage. But the kick also covers that option, it tracks in both directions, so them doing that can be risky. What that might mean is that they just block it, and if that happens you're at +2, so from there we can set up throws or maybe sidestep any attacks they throw out. The second option is using the kick's delay. What you'll notice is that the kick comes out slightly later than expected, and this is useful against certain players because they play to a certain rhythm and they're used to this exchange of strings, so when they see that gap they attack, but if they do that they're going to run straight into that kick and we get our throw. But what we can also do is delay the kick even further. As long as King's out of his normal stance you can still input the fall, and this can really mess with people's heads, especially if you only do the first hit. On top of that, the kick still tracks sidesteps, so that's not an easy escape for them either. Obviously if you get predictable they can counter hit you, but this then opens up another option, because if people start doing that you can use 1 plus 2. On hit this becomes a launcher and you can do 70 damage easy. Now before I go into the next section, I want to mention that my next video will be on Jaguar Hammer or Tijuana Twister. I just haven't decided which one it'll be, so why not help me out and let me know in the comments which one you want to see. And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe, that way you'll know when the video comes out and you won't miss anything. But back to this video. We've already seen how Olympian Slam works against people standing, but it can also be used in juggles, particularly after tail spinning. Normally the best tool for wall carrying is F plus 2-1, but sometimes the wall is too close and that means we can't get the wall combo. But what we can use instead is the kick. This doesn't do as much damage, but it lifts them up, and at the right spacing you can do the wall combo, which is great. But there is another more interesting use in juggles, and that's when we have an early tailspin. With combos like counter to TB3, the max damage juggle involves using while standing 4, but sometimes that juggle can be inconsistent. So to cover that, people use while standing 2-2. This still allows you to finish with the powerbomb and you get 65 damage. But an alternative is to use the kick. This doesn't do as much damage, but it makes them land face down feet towards, not face up. And this is special because no matter which button they hit, they will only tech roll right. and on top of that, back rolling is way more dangerous. Now the best follow up here is moonsault, because this will hit no matter what they do, unless they side roll left. In that case, it will whiff. But we have a solution to that: ground throws. Here you'll get the half Boston crab, and as most of you already know, this guarantees a people's elbow. It also guarantees a bow and arrow stretch, which then guarantees an alley kick, which does more damage. But the best case scenario is when you have rage, because here a rage drive is guaranteed, and from there you can do another Boston crab and get up to 130 damage. As I mentioned earlier, the moonsault hits all cases apart from side or left. But sometimes, against some characters, they can escape by back rolling. But to cover that, we can use knuckle bomb. This will get you a front facing launch, and from there you can do 79 damage. But there's a trick to this. If you just input the command normally and they tech roll, you will whiff, and that means you get punished. But to stop that, we can hold forward after the kick and then input the command just before they land. What this will do is it closes the range ever so slightly, and if you've done it right, it will be blocked by tech rollers but still get you the launch on back rollers. Now if the knuckle bomb is blocked, then you're at +2, and from there you can go for a giant swing or maybe sidestep their attacks as well. What I also forgot to mention is that knuckle bomb hits people side rolling and into its wake up kicks, so apart from tech rolling, their only escape is to stay down. Obviously the best remedy for this is to go for ground throws, but if you've done the knuckle bomb and they've stayed down, the next move is probably going to be get up 3, because this gets them a launch. But to counter that, you can block low or low parry. Now you might be wondering why I don't suggest hop knee, and it's because you just don't get off the ground quick enough. The last thing I want to mention is that you can also get this situation if you end a normal juggle with back +2-4 or F+2 D1-2. The only issue is that they will land away from you, so you have to dash in. And in most cases, you can probably end the juggle with running power bomb, and that has its own Oki. So personally, I'd only use these if you get a hard read, or if you're in a long set and you want to give them something different to think about. As always, I hope you guys learned something here. If you did, then give me a thumbs up. If you think I've missed something out or got something wrong, then let me know in the comments. There's more King content to come, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and I'll see you guys in the future.